Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashyata Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we finished, and we have to start from here. So anyone wants to read?
Hare Krishna. Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. You can read 2 paragraphs, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much. Not accepting unfit disciples, constructing many temples, or reading many books. Another stricture is that a person may have many disciples, but he should not act in such a way that he will be obliged to any of them for some particular action or some favor. And one should also not be very enthusiastic about constructing new temples, nor should one be enthusiastic about reading various types of books, save and except the ones that lead to the advancement of devotional service. Practically, if one very carefully reads Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, teachings of Chaitanya, and this nectar of devotion, that will give him sufficient knowledge to understand the science of Krishna consciousness. One need not take the trouble of reading other books. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 13th chapter, verse 8, Narada Muni, while discussing with Mataji, would you please scroll?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. While discussing with Maharaj Yudhishthira the various functions of the different orders in society, especially sannyasis, those persons who have renounced the sannyasa order of life is forbidden to accept as a disciple anyone who is not fit. A sannyasi should first of all examine whether a prospective student is sincerely seeking Krishna consciousness. If he is not, he should not be accepted. However, Lord Chaitanya Chaitanya's Causeless mercy is such that he advised all bona fide spiritual masters to speak about Krishna consciousness everywhere. Therefore, in the line of Lord Chaitanya, even the sannyasis can speak about Krishna consciousness everywhere. And if someone is seriously inclined to become a disciple, the sannyasi always accepts him. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any other wants to read? Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The one point is that without increasing the number of disciples, there is no propagation of the cult of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sometimes even at a risk, a sannyasi in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may accept even a person who is not thoroughly fit to become a disciple. Later on, by the mercy of such a bona fide spiritual master, the disciple is gradually elevated. However, if one increases the number of disciples simply for some prestige or false honor, he will surely fall down in the matter of executing Krishna consciousness. Similarly, a bona fide spiritual master has no business reading many books simply to show his proficiency or to get popularity by lecturing in different places. One should avoid all these things. It is also stated that a sannyasi should not be enthusiastic about constructing temples. We can see in the lives of various acharyas in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they are not very enthusiastic about constructing temples. However, if somebody comes forward to offer some service, the same reluctant acharyas will encourage the building of costly temples by such servitors. For example, Rupa Goswami was offered a favor by Maharaja Man Singh, the commander-in-chief of Emperor Akbar, and Rupa Goswami instructed him to construct a large temple for Govindaji, which cost vast amounts of money. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lalita Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, a bona fide spiritual master should not personally take any responsibility for constructing temples. But if someone has money and wants to spend it in the service of Krishna, an acharya like Rupa Goswami may utilize the devotees' money to construct a nice, costly temple for the service of the Lord. Unfortunately, it happens that someone who is not fit to become a spiritual master may approach wealthy persons to contribute for temple constructions. If such money is utilized by unqualified spiritual masters for living comfortably in costly temples without actually doing any preaching work, this is not acceptable. In other words, a spiritual master need not be very enthusiastic for constructing temple buildings simply in the name of so-called spiritual advancement. Rather, his first and foremost activity should be to preach. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj recommended that a spiritual master print books. If one has money, instead of constructing costly temples, one should spend his money for the publication of authorized books in different languages for propagating the Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Suma Mataji, you can read. Uma Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, you can read.
Straightforwardness in ordinary dealings and equilibrium in loss and gain. There is a statement in the Padma Purana: persons who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should never be disturbed by some material gain or loss. Even if there is some material loss, one should not be perturbed but should always think of Krishna within himself. The purport is that every conditioned soul is always absorbed in thinking of materialistic activities. He has to free himself from such thoughts and transfer himself completely to Krishna consciousness. As we have already explained, the basic principle of Krishna consciousness is to always think of Krishna. One should not be disturbed in material loss, but rather should concentrate his mind upon the lotus feet of the Lord. A devotee should not be subjected to lamentation or illusion. There is the following statement in the Padma Purana: within the heart of a person who is overpowered by lamentation or anger, there is no possibility of Krishna's being manifested. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Swati Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. The demigods. One should not neglect to offer the respect to the demigods. One may not be a devotee of demigod, but that does not mean that he should be disrespectful to them. For example, a Vaishnava is not a devotee of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, but he is duty bound to offer all respect to such highly positioned demigods. According to Vaishnava philosophy, one should offer respect even to an ant, so that what is there to speak of such exalted persons as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma? In Padma Purana, it is said Krishna or Hari is the master of all demigods, and therefore he is always worshipable. But this does not mean that one should not offer respect to the demigods. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shobha Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Not giving pain to any living entity. This is a statement of Mahabharata. A person who does not disturb or cause painful action in the mind of any living entity, who treats everyone just like a loving father does his children, whose heart is so pure, certainly very soon becomes favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In so-called civilized society, there is sometimes agitation against cruelty to animals, but at the same time, regular slaughterhouses are always maintained. A Vaishnava is not like that. A Vaishnava can never support animal slaughter or even give pain to any living entity. Haribol, thank you, Mataji, Dandavats.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, we had already discussed this in the 6th chapter. So, we are coming with greater details in this chapter. So, here, this is more regardingly they have spoken about sannyasis. So, even and here it is mentioned about not having many disciples, so that they don't think in a way that if they have more disciples, then they have been known very well or something like that. So most of the sannyasis who wants to make many disciples, they go according to their guru or whatever they have been instructed. So they follow it accordingly. If they are coming in the disciplic succession and they are going with the orders of the spiritual master, if we observe in our own ISKCON things, some Maharajas have many disciples. So, for example, like Jaipatak Maharaj have many disciples, but that to make so many disciples, that order has come from him, from his spiritual master, that is Srila Prabhupada. So, in that way, they make many disciples, showing compassionate to as many as devotees. So only if you see constructing new temples or constructing many temples, so we have Gopal Krishna Maharaj who have constructed many temples. Again, the order has come for him from his Guru Maharaj. So they go according to the orders of their spiritual master, and they are just executing whatever been instructed to them individually and personally. So, but as when it is coming from their spiritual master, so there needs to be some or the other instructions to be followed, and it is in terms of the good for the humanity. But when it comes personally, when you want to do something for your own benefit or for your own recognition in building new temples or having a costlier temple where you can stay comfortably and not doing any preaching work, so all these things are against of a sannyasi who is not fit in doing all such things. And again here some may be very intelligent to understand by reading lot of scriptures, and they may go on do the preaching work not in the mood of helping the humanity to come to Krishna conscious, but in showcasing their knowledge. So whether it is material knowledge or spiritual knowledge, we should not be showcasing it. Right? So some go and preach Srimad Bhagavatam for professionally for earning money. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that it is against of going like that. Only like it is like you are doing it for your personal interest. But if someone is inviting you and is giving you some remunerations to give a Bhagavatam class, that is a different case. You are invited, so you can do that. And whatever remunerations comes, you can utilize it for in some other preaching works. But you going yourself and giving Bhagavatam Katha only for your earning, for your life earning is not allowed. And so there is all so in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, 13th chapter and verse 8, so Narad Muni is telling all these things to Maharaj Yudhishthir, that how a sannyasi should be. So who is a sannyasi? Who has renounced all this material world. So he should not accept the sannyas order only to accept disciples. And also here it is forbidden that to accept a disciple who is not fit. But very nicely here Rupa Goswami also mentions that in the line of Lord Chaitanya, here it's mentioned that so we can think that who is not fit is not been given a disciple, cannot accept a disciple. But in our line of Lord Chaitanya, the sannyasis can speak about Krishna conscious everywhere. And if one is inclined to become disciple, the sannyasi always accepts him. So this is okay. If a person is very seriously inclined to become a disciple, then it is fine. But there is also that we can see that in the mission, in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sometimes even at a risk, a sannyasi in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may accept a person who is not thoroughly fit to become a disciple. So we see that here the mercy is coming from the sannyasi to the people, even though they are not fit to become a disciple. But if such a person who is not fit to become a disciple, but he is very sincere, and by the mercy of such sannyasis or such spiritual masters, the disciple is gradually elevated. So, but here this risk is taken for the for the mercy of all those who is, even though they are not fit to become a disciple, but when they get the mercy of the spiritual masters and they are also sincerely following the guidelines of the spiritual master, then the disciple gets elevated. So, and one should not accept a disciple or increase the number of disciples for false prestige or false honor. So when they try to do that, they will simply fall down. So, and yeah, as I mentioned about reading many books other than the, if we just read Srimad Bhagavatam and this whatever is been instructed for us, there are so many books. If reading Srimad Bhagavatam only takes for at least 2 years, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then this Bhakti Shastri books like Bhagavad Gita, NOD, and Nectar of Instructions, reading once itself is not enough. We may not have understood all the things. So, and when we are growing in our Krishna conscious, when we go back and read the same book, we have when we have growing in Krishna conscious, we understand things much better. So first time when you have read it, and second time after an year, suppose if you go and read the same book, you will understand it in different levels. So we need not go and read many books. So I'm not discouraging here, but if we just, because the essence is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, so if we just go on reading Bhagavatam, we may relish the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam. So some go and read many books just to show their proficiency or popularity in lecturing, or show their way of talent in reciting the shlokas, or right. So this is all showcasing comes. So a person who has understood the essence will not try to showcase. He will just give the essence with a very strong message. So, and a sannyasi is one who has left everything, who has detached from everything. So he should not be enthusiastic for constructing temples. Why? Because when a sannyasi who is detached from everything, when he starts involving in constructing temples, he will go in detail with everything, right? If, for example, if you have to build a house, how much you have to spend for this, how with whom you should go and speak, the contractor, all those things, so many things comes out. So only people who are dealing with like the disciples who are dealing with such works can help him. So here they give example of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was only involved in writing books and doing the preaching work, whatever they have learned from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when people like Maharaj Man Singh, who came and wanted to favor them, so when there is lot of money coming from the disciples, or anyone who is favoring and giving lands and to build temples, or they are intended to build the temples, so that time, here in case of Man Singh, Rupa Goswami instructed him to build a large temple for Govindji. So we see in Vrindavan the architecture of the temple is so beautiful that we may not have seen any such type of architecture to build, right? So such an architecture way, a large temple for Govindji has been built in Vrindavan. So in this way, we can favor someone who is ready to build temples or who is ready to give lands, which comes easily. So there, the sannyasis can involve in doing that type of seva, or they can instruct some of their disciples to go and do it. So yeah, that is all about. And again, we can see that more than building temples or in the name of spiritual advancement, what is the most important message of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj? Because in that time, the disciples were just going on in were in that egoistic way. Some of his disciples were in an egoistic way, were acquiring the rooms in the temple, and they were having a huge fight of telling up, this is my room, that is my room, this comes under my area and all. So seeing that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami recommended that if someone gives money, so instead of building so many temples, we should use this money for publication of books, so that we can preach, and when we go on doing book distribution, it reaches each and every person in hand. So we can, so most of the time we are doing this, printing as many as books and doing book distribution. So this has been followed by Srila Prabhupada and now their disciples and grand disciples. Coming to straightforwardness. So in this also, we can see that the dealing should be always straight. So what it means, that we should never be disturbed by some material gain or loss. And our main thing or concentration is here to become Krishna conscious. So to become Krishna conscious means to always remember the Lord and never get disturbed by some material gain or loss. And how should be dealings? Our dealings should be, it should be straightforwardness. There should not be any crookedness in our dealings. We should be honest, and we should always showcase our honesty. Even when it comes for some material loss for us, we should be honest in our dealings. So this is a statement. So within the heart of a person who is overpowered by lamentation or anger, there is no possibilities of Krishna's manifestation. So this statement is coming from Padma Purana. So we can always remember this point, that there should be equilibrium in loss and gain. So we should not be subjected to lamentation or go into illusion thinking that I have been under loss. So because whatever is required, Krishna will definitely provide it. So we need to be sincere enough and doing it. So for our own living purpose, whatever is required, food or roti, kapda, makan, we tell. So whatever is required, how much is required, Krishna gives that much. Because if we give more and the devotee does not know how to utilize it, right? So he will give it to people, or he will give it to the devotees who knows it, how to utilize it in fully in Krishna conscious. So someone who has never seen crores and crores of rupees, he will become mad about that, seeing that. So that greed, or even sometimes the loss goes off, he does not know how to deal with it, right? So Krishna gives whatever is required, and he will give to devotees who knows how to utilize it in fully in Krishna conscious. So we see devotees who are having in crores and crores, how they are utilizing it in building temples or wherever the donations are required. So they are fully giving it. And Krishna is also reciprocating with it by giving them more and more. So in this way, we can understand. Then coming to the demigods. So we should be showing respect to each and every person, every soul, right? So here it is mentioned what to speak of the demigods. We are supposed to offer respect even to an ant. So respect to all the living entities. Why? Because the Lord is present in each and every soul. So that is why at least showing respect to each and every soul, we are showing respect to the Lord who is present in their heart. And now when it comes to the demigods, they are they are serving the Lord. They are going according to the instructions of the Lord in maintaining and managing this material world. So they are the Vaishnavas. So we are supposed to respect them and not disrespect them. So we may not be worshipping them. If one is very concentratingly worshipping Lord Krishna, we may not worship them as the other materialistic people, or we may not engage in worshipping the demigods as the others do, but we have to show our due respect based on your place, time, and circumstances. If someone is a devotee of a demigod, we need to be showing respect to them also. Like, we should not be showcasing that I am a devotee of Krishna and you are a devotee of Lord Shiva, but Krishna is more superior than Lord Shiva. In those ways, we should not be offending them or anyway. One who is a devotee of Lord Shiva, in future, he will become a devotee of Krishna also. So we need to be worshipable the demigods here, and then not giving pain to any living entity. So here they are mentioning about how in society there may be some agitation against cruelty to animals, but the slaughterhouses are going on. Nobody speaks about that. But a Vaishnava will never support animal slaughter or giving pain to any living entity. So a beautiful statement here from Mahabharata also, that a person who is not disturbing or causing painful action in the mind of any living entity, then he is treating everyone just like how a father loves his children. So whose heart is very pure and who does not want to cause any painful actions for any living entity, they will become favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we see in the case of Jada Bharata, or we have one more example. I'm not getting the name. Mrigari. Mrigari was killing the animals half dead. So he was not killing them fully. He was killing them half dead. So they will they will be in so much pain and tolerating, and they then leave the body. So the animals, like that, he was killing them half the way. But by the mercy of Narad Muni, he understood that killing of animals is cruel and he will incur so many sins. So later, what is the transformation of Mrigari? When he is walking down the ground, when he sees the ants, he tries to see that he does not stumble on them. So a person, a Vaishnava, is the one who does not give pain to any living entity. So when we understand this, we will not try to give pain to any living entity. So this completes the chapter 7. We'll go to the next chapter and we'll read that, and if time permits, we can discuss few of them. Yes, Shobha Mataji. So is there any question or anything you want to share in the last chapter?
It's fine, Mataji. Haribol. Thank you.
We can just start it off, then we can discuss tomorrow. We can just read
Chapter
this.
8.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavats. Offenses to be avoided. In the supplementary Vedic literature, there is a following list of 32 offenses in the matter of serving the Lord. 1. One should not enter the temple of the deity in a car or palanquin or with shoes on the feet. Number 2. One should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Ratha Yatra. Number 3, one should not avoid bowing down before the deity. Number 4, one should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed one's hand and feet before eating, after eating. Number 5, one should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. According to Vedic scripture, if someone dies in the family, the whole family becomes contaminated for some time. According to its status, for example, If the family is Brahmana, their contamination period is 12 days. For the Kshatriyas and Vaishnavas, it is 15 days, and for Shudras, 30 days. Number 6, one should not bow down on one hand. Number 7, one should not circumambulate in front of Sri Krishna. The process of circumambulating the temple is that one should begin circulating from the deity's right hand side of the temple and come around. Such circumambulation should be performed outside the temple structure at least 3 times daily. Number 8, one should not spread his legs before the deity. Number 9, one should not sit before the deity holding the ankles, elbows, or knees with one's hand. Number 10, one should not lie down before the deity of Krishna. Number 11, one should not accept prasada before the deity. Number 12, one should never speak a lie before the deity. Number 13, one should not talk very loudly before the deity. Number 14, one should not talk with others before the deity. Number 15, one should not cry or howl before the deity. Number 16, one should not quarrel or fight before the deity. Number 17, one should not chastise anyone before the deity. Number 18, one should not be charitable to beggar before the deity. Number 19, one should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. Number 20, one should not wear a fur blanket before the deity. Number 21, one should not eulogize or praise anyone before the deity. Number 2, one should not speak any ill name before the deity. Number 23, one should not pass air before the deity. Number 24, one should not fail to worship the deity according to one's means. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that the Lord is satisfied with some devotee offers him even a leaf or a little water. This formula prescribed by laws is universally applicable, even for the poorest man. But that does not mean that one who has sufficient means to worship the Lord very nicely should also adopt this method and try to satisfy the Lord simply by offering water and a leaf. If he has sufficient means, he should offer nice decoration, nice flowers, and nice footsteps and observe all ceremonies. It is not that one should try to satisfy the Supreme Lord with a little water and a leaf, and for himself spend all his money in sense gratification. Number 25, one should not eat anything that is not offered first to Krishna. Number 26, one should not fail to offer fresh fruit and grains to Krishna according to the season. Number 27, after food has been cooked, no one should be offered any foodstuff unless it is first offered to the deity. Number 28, one should not sit with his back towards the deity. Number 29, one should not offer obeisances silently to the spiritual master. Or in the other words, one should recite aloud the prayers to the spiritual master while offering obeisances. Number 30, one should not fail to offer some praise in the presence of spiritual master. Number 31, one should not praise himself before the spiritual master. Number 32, one should not deride the demigods before the deity. This is the list of 32 offenses. Besides these, there are Haribol, thank you Mataji, Dandavats.
Dandavats. So these are the 32 offenses which has been told about how we are when we are serving the Lord. So we know most of them, like when you're entering the temple, we can't enter a temple this in case of palanquin or with shoes on the feet. Like in the older cases, some are taken in palanquins. The highly qualified brahmanas are taken in palanquins. So, but you cannot enter a temple in palanquins. So it should be only outside the temple. And with shoes, we know that we always remove our shoes, wash our feet and hand, and then enter the temple. So that is how one should be entering the temple. And also, even after eating, we anyway wash our hands and feet and then come to the enter the temple once more. So the second one is we should be observing different festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like the Ratha Yatra, Janmashtami. There are so many festivals we observe, Narsimha Chaturdashi, right? Radhashtami. So there are so many festivals. We need to observe it very nicely. For what? Not for the pleasure of ourselves, for the pleasure of the Lord. And so whenever we see the deities, we should always bow down before the deities. That is the first thing we should do when we enter the temple. And like when someone dies or when some child is born in the family, we know that we observe some contamination time. So we don't enter the temples, or even we don't open our puja rooms or do any puja at home. So we follow this. So the same thing needs to be followed. So one should not enter the temple in such a contaminated state.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
The puja room should not be open for how many days?
According to your culture way, Mataji, mainly it is
Hare Krishna,
12
Mataji.
days.
Am I audible?
Mainly it is 12 days, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. You can hear me?
We can hear Mataji, but Padma Mataji.
I think she is not able to hear. Okay. So if
Yes.
she comes back, okay, we'll see. So mainly we follow for 12 days, but we get purified on the 10 days itself. After 10 days, yeah, you can go to the temple on the 12th day. So when everything is done.
Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, sorry, I got disconnected. My mobile stopped functioning.
Yeah.
Okay, now Mataji, when you say that for the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, it is for 15 days, which is about the contamination, and for Sudras, 30 days. Now, you said the temple also should not be kept open for how many days, Mataji?
So that's what, Mataji, according to your family culture, how it is been done. So you can follow that. So basically, most of the time it is 12 days, Mataji. So 13th day,
Yeah.
you can come to temple or you can start worshipping in your house. So
Yes, Mataji, this is now at home. At home, we should not keep the temple open for 12 days, right? Am I right?
yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, because this was an argument, sometime back, I had with some devotees. So they said, how can you, that means if you keep the temple closed, then that means you're starving the Lord. So that is not correct. So I said, but otherwise you can't keep the temple open, you can't cook and feed also. So there was a bit of argument. So I thought, I'll have to check with somebody. Since the topic has come now, that's why I'm asking you to help me, Mataji.
Most of the time, the devotees, when they come to know this, so they usually ask the help of the devotees and give them their devoted deities to take care. If the deities are there at home, this is what most of the devotees do, that to take care of the deities in those days. Or they ask for sometimes if there is no one to take care or no help of devotees in such places or whatever, so they just ask forgiveness from the Lord that they can't serve them, and they just close it for those days, and they just offer it outside the altar by offering in the kitchen itself. So in that way
Yeah,
they
in your
try to
mind.
do.
In the mind, no, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it, Mataji. But this
Hare
was a
Krishna,
big
Mataji.
argument too. So when I told them, how can you give the deities to eat, when your temple is closed? So they got offended. They say, no, you can't. How can you stop the Lord? You have to cook and give him. So I don't know. I was waiting for an opportunity to ask somebody.
Yeah, Mataji. So most of the time it is taken care by the devotees before closing, when they come to know it, and they just approach the devotees and they take the deities to their place and they just start doing worship there and offering every bhoga over
Okay.
there. So most of the time it is been done like that.
But in case you are not approachable to any devotee who is not around, then what do you do?
Yeah, then you need to just ask the permission of their lordship, and they when you are serving your deities, so they understand you, Mataji. So you can just take the permission and ask for forgiveness that because of this contamination, I may not be able to cook and offer it. So I'm just closing it. So
Okay.
it
And
has
then
been
you,
understood. Yeah, and
yeah,
then you give bath and then clean the puja room, everything. Then you give the bath to the deities and then change their dresses, everything, Mataji.
that is after that mourning period is over,
Yes,
12,
Mataji.
12 days over, then no.
Yes, Mataji.
So in the meantime, you can in your mind, without any picture, you can just offer in your mind whatever you make. Like
In
that?
the sense, you can offer it in the kitchen where we can just keep
Yeah.
the photos and you can just offer it over there.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
offering goes also, but since the DT room is like a standard one, which we are going with all DT worship standards, so we just go accordingly with that.
Okay. Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
If we are contaminated, what we do usually for 11 days, we do not cook also Mataji. Others will come and cook here. Otherwise, they will bring food from their house and feed us. So this is the routine we have in our custom. So in the
So that's what, Mataji. Depending
yes,
on
Mataji.
whatever it is, like if it is like somebody who is part of your own family member who is
Yes.
staying at home, if
Yes.
they have left the body, then what you told happens.
Yes,
But
Mataji.
if it is in case of some far relative, like
Yes.
somebody who does not stay with you and who
Yes.
are very far from you, like
Yes.
staying very far from you and all. So at that time, still you need to follow this. So at that time, we just close the puja room and just go on
Yes, we do not
offering.
go outside to anybody's house or temple or anywhere like that. And we just
follow it just in the kitchen and offer it and
yes,
just
yes,
have
Mataji.
that food because we are supposed to eat prasadam.
Yes.
So that continues. But as you told, somebody comes and cooks or sends prasadam for you for those 12 days.
Yes.
It applies for the person who stayed with you.
With us, yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yes, correct. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for adding up. So, yeah. So we should be bowing down to the lordships with both our hands. And yeah, so here we should not circumambulate in front in the sense we should be circumambulating the Lord from the right hand side and come around. So, and we have learned this in our earlier thing also that what are the 64 ways of doing devotional practices is circumambulating the Lord at least, Lord in the sense the outer temple structure at least 3 times daily. And so these are the few things we should be careful of, that we should not spread our legs before the deity. We are not supposed to lie down. We are not supposed to accept prasadam also before the deity. And we should not sit before the deity holding our feet, ankles. We need to maintain that cleanliness. So we should not be touching our ankles or feet and knees and all those things. So, and few things we need to see that we are not speaking lie, we are not talking loudly, and so when we are in the temple, we need to be maintaining the one is the cleanliness and one is the silently, so that the peaceful nature in the temple can be maintained. And one should not be speaking ill about others, or even one should not be praising others, or we should not be passing air. So all these things is mainly for maintaining the cleanliness in term, and also to maintain the peaceful atmosphere. And so here it is been mentioned about that universally we have to, it is Krishna is happy just by offering some leaf or fruit or a flower or little water. So that is universally applicable even for the poorest of man. But if we have sufficient way, whatever we can do to our best of our ability, we should be doing all type of offerings for the Lord, especially during festivals, offering nice clothes, nice jewelry, nice foodstuffs, right? Nice fruits. And also here it is mentioned about offering seasonal fruits and grains to the lordships. So whatever best we can give, we should be giving it to the Lord. And without offering any food stuff to the Lord, we cannot have that, because if we have those type of food, it causes sin, so we cannot eat. So we are supposed to eat only prasad. So yeah, and we should not sit showing our back towards the deity. So we need to offer obeisances here by reciting the prayers, not very loud but hearable, audible. When we are offering obeisances, even to Prabhupada or anyone, we just recite the mantras and pay obeisances to the lordships also. And so we are not supposed to praise ourselves or others in the presence of the spiritual master. And we should always be giving respect to the demigods also. So these are the very common simple offenses, but we need to keep them in our mind. So from tomorrow we'll discuss about the other offenses. So thank you very much, Matajis and Prabhujis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Matajis.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna Matajis. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhyo
Patithanam
patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavi ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.